All right. Well, this is Eliana again, and good morning. This is my next video journal. And I was just talking about how at the beginning of this month, I was very determined to do my wholesaling. And I was excited, I was in pursuit. And then I located two properties and I located the owners. And I sent out some information, some correspondence, and I haven't heard back, right? So I was like getting a little disappointed, a little frustrated because it's like, wait a minute, I got a good plan. I want to execute a good deal, and it hasn't panned out so far. But do I give up? No, I don't give up, right? I'm going to go for this thing because I have to treat this now as my new source of income. I made videos before saying how early in September, I had to make an executive decision to leave a job that was taking, it was really sucking the life out of me. And it wasn't a lot of money, but it was enough money to take care of my monthly expenses. And, but it was more, it was costing me more emotionally, spiritually, psychologically. It was taxing on me. It was toxic. So I had to make a decision to quit. I did quit. Made a different arrangement to still work a few less hours, but that means that I'm getting a little tiny check. That can't pay anything, baby gas. So I have to do something. And so my new adventure with wholesaling is that it's my job now. It is my new career. And that means I have to get back on track and stay focused. And sometimes, I'm going to be very honest, I'm very focused in many things. But like most women, I am easily distracted also by many things. So, and it all, because women, we process things through our emotions. So here's my example. Okay, I'm highly super focused on this thing. I get a call from one of my kids that there's an emergency. I'm gonna drop everything, okay? Like most mothers, we will drop everything, go see what the problem is, and try to solve it. In the process of doing that, we get caught up in the emotion of the thing. And it can take a lot out of us. So by the time we come back home, we're drained. Now we don't have that same happy thought about the business adventure because we're depleted. So we tend to lose focus, change gears, and start something else because we kind of thrive off of the little endorphin, the endorphins, the dopamine that gives us that wow factor about something we're doing new. Now, the key is stay out of the dope. I'm not talking about using drugs. There is a chemical that is released in our bodies, and it's called dopamine. And when something is new and exciting to us, it releases a lot of dopamine and we feel good about it. And so we want more of it because that, it is a drug. It's a chemical that that lives within us gets released. And so sometimes the reason why people fall out of opportunities and businesses is because once the reality that they're going to do this thing sets in, there's also no dopamine and adrenaline. And so then they lose focus, right? They lose focus because they're not having a happy thought. They're not having the rumble in the tummy. It's like, oh yeah, no, or the feeling that I'm going to make a lot of money. So when someone's offering you a position and it's more money than you ever seen, dopamine kicks in. You get a high, you get an adrenaline. It's like, woo! After you've done the job and you get in the position, you start seeing all the problems. The dopamine, you're doing it. You're doing the job. You know the people. Some people will walk away from a job that's, I don't care how much money. Why? You don't have that happy thought anymore. So you get more money than you ever got, but because you're not on some type of euphoric about the job or the business opportunity or the prospect of making money, you don't want to do the job. You have no follow through. No, maturity is new things always accompany a feeling. But the reality is that it's work. Remember when you found out you were pregnant, if you're a female or a male, and you got your wife or girlfriend pregnant and you really wanted a child? You were on dopamine. Oh my God, I'm gonna have a baby. Oh my God, she's pregnant, right? You guys were happy. Okay, what happens? And then you're all the anticipation. There's a lot of dopamine being released a little bit by little bit every month of that pregnancy, especially when the news is good, because you're wanting that baby to come out. You just can't wait to meet him. And oh my God, what are they going to look like? Are they going to have my eyes, his eyes, my nose, his lips? You're just looking for all that stuff. What kind of hair? Is it going to be like my grandpa? All that is all excited. Except, okay, the baby is born. Oh my God, you're happy. Everybody's, oh my God. The baby's all cute, right? And stuff, sleeping, making little grunts. You know, babies. You get the baby home. Baby is, and then you fall asleep. And then you hear, wah! Dun, 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 an alarm. Baby's awake, hungry. All that little bundle of cuteness has a big, loud sound. Your dopamine is gone. You're dealing with the baby. So another chemical kicks in because you're worried about the baby's safety because it's a big cry. So you kick into gear. It's adrenaline. Adrenaline kicks in. So you're doing all this with the baby. But then after a couple of hours or a couple of days of that, all that stuff wears off. So now you got this baby crying and you're tired. You haven't had any sleep. For women, you're trying to nurse and the baby hasn't latched on and you know the pain, right? Oh, the pain until they get the hang of it. But what I'm trying to say is that you work through it because it's your child. So eventually you're not now if it's your first child, you're going to still have that kind of dreamy, euphoric, a little dopamine, a little adrenaline coming in. You're still cruising, okay? But let it become your third child. You done this twice already. There's not a lot of dopamine experience going on. You know the routine. You know the drill. You know how long, unless your child has something wrong with it, and it's not developing as fast. You already know the stages and how long this is going to last. So you're not operating out of dopamine, adrenaline. You don't have that rush. You're operating out of parent with 3 kids. It's a whole different experience. But the difference is you learned through child number 1, child number 2, and now you're on child number 3. You're learning how to manage kids, little kids, right? And you're going to have a learning curve for the next 18 to 21 years. Trust me, because they change. Matter of fact, you're going to be on a learning curve for 35 years because they change every year. You're learning something new. And they think you know it all. So they start these things that are going on and you're like, what? You got to go get advice from people because you don't know what's going on. You ain't never experienced that. You learn with your kids, you grow with them. So they have no clue. They think you're mom and you know it, or your dad, and you guys are all knowing mom and dad know everything. And they just want me. They're learning too. Get a clue. They're learning. We're learning with our kids. We don't know it all. We never had kids until we have them. We never had those problems until we have them, right? So we learn how to grow through them. And thanks be to the Most High that there are parents, grandparents, right? Now that's who knew because they've been through it because that's how you're here. You got your grandparents. So your kids need those grandparents. Send them to the grandparents because the grandparents are more stable, more steady, and they get it. And they're not as freaked out by every new thing, okay? And then if you're lucky enough to have great grandparents around, send the child to the greats. Because the greats, they'll kick back on the couch and say, here, get a pallet, sit down. Y'all, we're going to get you something to eat. They not even moved. They're glad to see the greats. But they're not moved by them kids. Okay, kids start cutting up. They looking at you. Come here. Now, what are you doing? Great grandparents are fantastic. They are fantastic. So, I'm just saying, when you're doing something new, and I said all that to get back to my original point, my video of wholesaling. That's what it's like, okay? So that's why I'm saying I said all of that to get you into a reality mode that once you start something, you must follow through. You must kick in. It must kick in. And it must become like the back of your hand, like being a parent, like working a long-term job. Because you're not going to be riding and cruising on, oh my God, I just found a vacant house. Oh, I got a deal. Oh, I'm doing this. Okay, that's going to get old. That's going to get real old and tired. You know there's potential and you know there's money there. But you're not going to be all in the ethers and floating on a hot air balloon about it. It's going to take the same work, the same negotiation skills, the same patience. So what we have to learn how to do is approach things with a mature mind and a mature understanding. And we got to work it like it's an everyday slave job, like our life depends on it. And then we can eat by it. It's just all of work in the earth is work. No matter what you do, you got to do something to work. And that's what we're doing. So I want to encourage you. I don't want to belabor this. This is my journal. And so this is my new step. So long story short, I found 2 properties. I located the owners. I sent out letters. I knocked on a couple of doors. I put stickies on the door and I didn't get any response. Do I quit? No. I got to continue to pursue. If it's not that deal, then I need to broaden. I also found 3 additional properties in addition to the 2 that I found. I was only pursuing the 2. Now there's a potential of 5. So I need to start working the other 3 properties right now and keep my rotation until something comes up, right? I'm fishing. So I need to fish until somebody bites my hook. And then that begins my journey of making the money in this industry that I'm pursuing. So I want to encourage you, if you've started something new, if you have a new venture, a new business, don't give up. Remember, the dopamine is just the excitement. Then the fear is the adrenaline. But keep moving past those 2 into the steady reality that this is your life, and then do it with all your might. And you will be successful. You will be successful. So Eliana is encouraging you to get busy and keep moving.